Good afternoon. I've got a handful of tools and I'm trying to get the last couple of plants potted up. These are those bag babies I showed in a previous video. These two have already got potted up into lava rock. The roots were pretty good shape on those, pretty good. I've got a video on this one I might put up. I did a video on each one because sometimes they just don't work, and this way at least I had 3 chances. So I'm getting ready to do a third one here. This one you probably won't get to see. Just didn't work real well. The videos, you can't hardly hear me. Too much wind noise, sorry. This one not too bad. I think both the plants are going to do real well. Now I'm going to tackle this little Dendrobium and see how the roots are. I'm probably going to put it in this pot. If the roots are poor, I have a feeling they're going to be really bad. These were both in bark with a little bit of styrofoam. This has moss, it looks like, so I'm expecting the worst in here. I've got a mixture of gravel, small gravel, pea gravel, some lava rock, but a much smaller mix. A smaller mix is going to retain more moisture than just nothing but great big rocks. These will stay drier, will dry out a little faster. But again, lava rock versus river rock or something like that, which is hard, more like a quartz, doesn't absorb a lot of moisture. This will at least saturate itself and absorb a lot of moisture, as well as nutrients. So you have to remember that too. It's a little bit different. It's inert media. It's very similar, but this will retain more nutrients than river rock or gravel, something that's hard like that, like this. This is not going to suck up a lot of water versus that. The lava will, and nutrients. Anyway, there's a little mixture in there, and it's smaller pieces, so that the smaller the pieces, the longer the moisture will stay in the pot. This pot has quite a few holes in it. It does have a broken piece, but it's just a chip that came out of it. It was a free pot. It's been smooth. It's nice and smooth. It should work just fine. Has a little character, that's all. And I need to make a real quick wire for it. Let me put you back on the tripod. Cover that water barrel so I don't drop the camera in it. Anyway, those clips I make that attach to the side of the pots, the problem with those is, and they're great clips, I use them all the time, but one of the problems with those is, move the camera around, every time you have a pot that has a different rim on it, or a different type of pot, you have to make a different type of clip, and it can get complicated after a while. I love them, and I make them for all kinds of pots, but then again, I don't have a problem with it. There is a universal type clip, let me show you, that'll work in just about anything, even like a plastic deli container or anything like that. Let me show you what I'm talking about. You can use a piece of metal pipe. This just happens to be a metal piece of pipe ring. You can use a piece of PVC pipe. Even everybody can get their hands on a piece of PVC pipe. But you want something that's strong enough to just won't crush under the piece of wire. But watch how simple this is, okay? Just a little bit, and you can make this in different size, just a different size ring, and you can just get inventive. But if you just put that in there and then roll it and go past where you originally clamped onto it, you end up with, I hope that was on video, but you end up with that ring, okay? That's about as simple as you can get. The great thing about it is it's actually adjustable. It'll actually squeeze in to go in a smaller pot, or you can actually flare it out to go into a bigger pot, and it'll fit in just about anything. And there's because that was adjustable, you can push it down in there and it'll really hold tight. See what I mean? You just can't get any simpler than that. I'm just going to eyeball this plant just to give me an idea of where I'm going to cut that off at. Anyway, that's where I'm going to put my eye. I don't know where my cutters are. Here they are. They're actually in my pocket. It can't get any simpler than that. That just is so easy. And there's nothing better than to be able to anchor your plant really nice and tight. Alright? Now that has it so the wire's over on the side of the pot. Over on the side. And always make sure you bend over that tip so you don't poke your eye out. But they really hold, see what I mean? But let's pull this out and take a look at it first. I'm not sure. I may have to bend that clip over so it's more into the center of the pot. I think I am. Just a quick bend it like that. Then I'm going to grab it more in the middle, like right there. And now when it goes in there, it's more in the center of the pot. See what I mean? I think it's going to work better. Push it down tight. That is a great shape. That's the other reason I like them. They just hold so well. I'm going to put some bigger pieces in the bottom. And a handful of smaller ones to lock it in place. And ready to go. Let me grab that lid real quick. Sorry about that. Just wanted to dump that stuff on. I want to get rid of this stuff. I've already had snails in it one time I've already found, so I don't know how well the breeze is going to knock out my voice today. Not the greatest. Just teasing it out with a piece of wire. People ask me all the time, I've answered this before, but they ask me all the time, should I remove all the dead roots completely? Yes and no. If you're having it depends on the media you're going back into. I'm going back into an inert media, so I don't have to worry about it rotting quite as easy as I would if it was moss or bark. And I'm not putting moss or bark down. No, I'm just answering a question. If I had a rot issue with a bunch of rotted roots, I would be hesitant about putting it right back into a damp media or something that's going to stay damp for a while. Healthy roots, I'm not concerned about doing that, but something that already has an issue, I'd be more concerned. A toothpick works real good for this too. It's less likely to tear the roots up. I'm being as gentle as I can, not doing too much damage, doesn't look like. But it cleans them off really well. Let me give that a good rinse. I'm probably going to leave most of these on there. They don't look too bad. There are some dead ones in there, but I'm probably going to leave that to help anchor the plant. And I think that's going to work just about right. So hang on just a sec. Let me give this a rinse right behind you. Much better. I can actually see some of the little pieces of moss now are much more clear. Most of that's out. Those little pieces that are left should dry out and shouldn't be an issue anymore, as long as they're not surrounded in a big clump like that. That becomes the problem. So that looks much better, I think. Much better. I don't see anything active on it though. Any new growth or roots or anything. So. Let me toss this out of the way. It's growing this direction. I see a new node right there, but it's just not doing anything, so something about like that I think is going to work well. Sorry for the noise. This is where that little wire stake comes in. It really comes in handy. It's great for anchoring that plant, for keeping the shape on it. Looks is way down the list of the important things, I think, but still. Put another small one down the bottom. I can always just cut that wire off later on if I don't want to use it anymore. But for future growth that pop up, it's great to go back, anchor back to them, to pull them upright. If they're growing crooked, you can grab it and use it to anchor back to it. I mean, after the roots and stuff get down in there, get down inside that, that's really anchored well. So I'm going to pull it up, but I want to make sure the rhizome and everything is above the media. Something like that. I think that plant will do well now. I can always adjust it or anchor it up, but it's anchored really nice. It's in there nice and tight. The old roots are going to help hold it in there, and they shouldn't rot because there's nothing in there to, there's no organic matter around them. So it should do well. That's about it. I'm going to clean up my mess, and that makes number 3. And that's it. And then I got to get some vinca planted out by the mailbox. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all those great questions and comments. I appreciate it. It means the world. Have a great night.